Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to be going over a mini lesson in pronoun antecedent agreement. It's one of the topics that I have on Khan Academy, and I just want to make sure we understand the basics of what these components are, so that way you could better understand the exercises. So when we talk about agreement, it means that they have to be the same, right? If something agrees, you're in the same idea as someone else. So when we talk about pronoun antecedent agreement, we need to know what those components are in order to really understand what we're doing. So an antecedent is the noun or pronoun that the pronoun is replacing in the sentence. And when we talk about our pronouns, we have, the different pronouns here. I know this chart is a little bit hard to see. We'll move it a little closer. So you'll notice some of the words do repeat, but it's I, me, my, mine, you, your, yours, he, him, his, she, her, hers, it, and its. Now those are your singular ones. And then the plural, we have for the first person, we, us, our, and ours. Second person, you and yours. Third person, they, them, their, and theirs. And pay close attention to the way that the their is spelt, because that's the one that shows possession. Now, when we're looking at our pronoun antecedent agreement, it has to agree in three ways. So it has to agree in number, singular or plural. So if our antecedent is singular, our pronoun must be singular. If it's plural, it must be plural. And that's where you refer to the chart to make sure that you're using the correct one. Gender, is it male or female? It's important that you pay attention to that if it's there, okay? And then the person, is it first, second, or third person? That makes a difference. So one thing that I do want to clarify when we talk about gender here, sometimes people get confused because example sentences might not necessarily indicate if it's talking about a girl or a boy. But that's when you kind of make a decision. If you have answer choices like either she or they, and it's a singular noun, a singular antecedent, then you automatically pick the she because they is plural. So I have an example like that so you'll be able to see it, but that is a very common mistake that students make, is because it's not explicitly telling you if it's a girl or a boy, you automatically think that you should pick the non-gender pronoun. So you're picking they or their or them, and that's not the correct thing to do, and that's a little bit tricky. So I do have an example that I will show to you. The first example that I want to go over though is, okay, so I love walking the streets of Paris. Blank is a beautiful city. So now we're talking about the city of Paris. So when we're talking about that, we would use one of our, third person pronouns, and it's only one city. So we would say it is a beautiful city, right? Now, I have two more examples here that I want to go over with you because it's like the multiple choice. So I'll just stick that up here. Oh, let me stick it up higher so you can actually see it. There we go. All right, so sometimes we get a little bit confused when the examples aren't just girl, boy, multiple people, singular kind of a thing. So in this example, anyone can break blank arm during an accident. So your answer choices are his or their. So this is one of those examples that I was talking about before, where it's not explicitly saying if it's a boy that's doing this, but when we see any one, see how that says one? That makes us know that we're talking about singular. The singular word here would be his. So you would choose his. Now that might not come easily to you to do because it's not explicitly telling us that it's a boy, but you need to look at your word here, and it says any one person can break his arm during an accident. The second example does give us our gender here. Okay, so since Maria went to medical school, then the choices are they or she should know the proper treatment. So because it's Maria, she should know the proper treatment. So this is the one that kind of generally comes easier to people because it's, easy to see that it's Maria. So then we would pick the one person. Something like this, though, is a little bit more difficult. Some other things to be aware of are our collective pronouns like family, team. When you are trying to figure out what to do, you have to ask yourself, what is being done, right? So is every member of the family doing whatever the action is in the sentence? Or is it acting as a single unit? And as long as you ask yourself that question, whatever the answer is, then you go with either your plural or your singular pronoun to go along with it. Okay, I will have a follow-up video for collective as well. So if you're struggling with that, just look for the next video. But other than that, you really just want to ask yourself, it has to follow these things. It has to agree in number, singular or plural. It has to agree in gender, male or female, and person, first, second, or third. Okay? And then you follow through. And I will make sure that your pronouns chart is also on class pages, just as a reference guide for you. And if you have any questions, as always, just reach out. Okay? Have a wonderful day, everybody.